Welcome to our next video. Today we're getting on the City of New Orleans. It leaves at about 8 o'clock at night from Chicago and heads to New Orleans. This is the second leg of our journey.
And it's the most beautiful views as you go through Chicago. Look at how pretty they are.
Great night views of the city, including the view of the old Chicago Soldier Field. I don't know what it's called now, but the Bears play there. And as you know from the last video, I like to see the stadiums by the trains. On this leg of the journey, we are going to
Jackson, Mississippi, which is the capital of Mississippi, and it's in a beautiful downtown area of Jackson. And we were renting a car, and we're going to head off to go see the Vicksburg battlefield, Civil War battlefield.
I have seen most of the Civil War battlefields, at least the major battles, but never made it to Vicksburg. I have two ancestors who fought there, and I kind of want to see where they were located. Currently on the video, we are entering Memphis, Tennessee by train. We went here in our conversion van about a year ago, or maybe 2 years ago. And we wanted to sleep at a Cracker Barrel. Notice they had an armed guard in the parking lot. Must be there for some reason. We moved on. But here at the railroad station is also a hotel in Memphis.
So it's a fun place to travel and to spend the night. The weird thing is you get off the train in the early morning, so it's not like you can just get off. I think this is a hotel right there, isn't that? Yeah, this is the train hotel that you're looking at. And so anyway, you get off in the morning, and I'm sure you could check your bags in and then walk around the city, but it's kind of fun to have a hotel right at the station. It's a really cute little place. And I think there's a market and a restaurant in that area too for you to eat at.
We look for hotels that are near train stations, walkable cities. Those are kind of important to us. Guess that wasn't the hotel. We're not quite there yet.
Oh, well, anyway. I lied to you. Sorry.
That's coming up. Maybe this is it here.
Rise and shine, it's Memphis time. Center of your coach and downstairs for the train. Memphis now arriving.
All right, the City of New Orleans is stopping at Marks, Mississippi. This town is famous for Dr. Martin Luther King's 1968 mule train, a key part of the Poor People's Campaign. King visited this impoverished town because he was so moved by extreme poverty that he wept. Then after his assassination, there was a mule-driven caravan to travel from Mississippi to Washington, D.C. from Marks, Mississippi.
After Marks, Mississippi, we come to Yazoo City, which we don't know much about it, but we remember watching American Idol last year. The winner of American Idol was Jamal Roberts, and he's from Yazoo City, Mississippi. So it's a pretty cool thing for that town. They've got a lot of attention out of that. Well, we've made it to Jackson, Mississippi. Do you know that this city is built directly on top of an extinct volcano? I had no idea. But there is a very famous civil rights museum in um, Mississippi in Jackson here. And the downtown's really nice. However, there's quite a few people wandering around. Hey, we've made it to Vicksburg. So we rented a car in Jackson, Mississippi, and we're traveling through the Vicksburg battlefield of the Civil War. And so we're taking video of the road that goes around the Civil War. This is where all of the different regiments were. I think right now we are on the Confederate side. The 27th Louisiana was where one of Brian's ancestors was. And then he also had somebody in the 31st Louisiana too. Is that correct, Brian?
The 27th Louisiana had T.J. Hightower from my
Father's side.
I think my father's father's side, and T.J. Hightower, and then he had brother Charnel Lafayette Hightower, who was in the 31st Mississippi. So where you see that marker is where they were. Both were close together, and both repelled a Union attack, a heavy Union attack, before Grant decided to go into a siege. You can, when you visit these Civil War battlefields, you see the terrain. The one difference here in Vicksburg, all these trees weren't here. So, but the hills were, and that was the problem for the Union troops. They had some very steep hills to attack up, and they couldn't dislodge the Confederates. Most of them were troops from Louisiana, as the Hightowers were. 9,000 of them were from Louisiana. So when you see these markers, those trees weren't there. They had clear paths to the attacking Union troops.
Okay, you're staring at the Mississippi River right there. So we are going to go down this road and we're going to get a view of the Cairo. Tell about the Cairo.
Yeah,
This is the Cairo.
Grant had a plan to run his gunboats beneath the guns of Vicksburg, and it was primarily successful. This is the USS Cairo, and you can kind of see how it's built. There's another museum in Vicksburg, the Old Depot Museum, which we're going to go to, that shows a more detailed depiction of how it would have looked in the Civil War on the inside.
Now they have just dug this USS Cairo up in 1987, so this is a fresh find.
This is Vicksburg's cemetery for the battlefield. And we just drove around the park. We didn't spend a whole lot of time there. I saw where my ancestors were, saw the terrain of the battlefield, and it's kind of mostly what we were interested in.
6 battery.
Coming up is the only surviving structure on the battlefield that was there, witness to the battle. It's that white farmhouse that we're going to see here in just a second.
But you're seeing some cannons now that are authentic from the time. There's the farmhouse.
Next up, we're going to go to the Old Depot Museum in Vicksburg, Virginia. That first ship was a Sultana, which is a tragic story of a ship blowing up with 1,800 soldiers on it returning from the Civil War. That's a model of, this is a Savannah Confederate ship, gunship, like the Coca-Cola room in there. We saw an Air Force jacket. My brother was a sergeant in the Air Force. They have a big diorama of the battlefield of Vicksburg, and there you see where the 27th and 31st Louisiana regiments fought and turned back the Union assault before the siege.
The countryside out there, and fortunately the families had to leave the homes, and the homes and the barn, everything was burned.
They couldn't get supplies and couldn't.
That's what a siege is. Yeah. And if you read anything of his writings, you will know he's not a siege like out.
He didn't have any choice, right?
Not really. We're also manning the Great Redoubt. That's why you see the Louisiana Monument there. You know, in the park, you see the tall state on the Confederate side. The other Illinois.
This museum also had a large model train display. I always like those. And CNN, Canadian National, has a large presence down through, running north and south through Mississippi. Now we're in Jackson, heading back down to New Orleans, and that'll be the next part of our video number 3 in this series of 3 videos on our trips to Montana and Mississippi, Louisiana.
Thanks for joining us.